Bonjour tout le monde. Today we're talking about verbs that take either être or avoir in the passé composé, and we're specifically talking about passe, monter, descendre, and sortir. And we know that these are Vandertramp verbs, so normally they're going to take être as their helper, right, in the passé composé. Here are some examples. Nous sommes passés au magasin, we passed by the store. Aimé est monté au deuxième étage, Amy went up to the third floor. Vous avez descendu par l'escalier ou par l'ascenseur? Did you take the stairs down or the elevator? Nous sommes sortis hier soir. We went out last night. So, when we've got these verbs and they're followed by a direct object, they use avoir as a helping verb, okay? A direct object answers the question who or what. One more thing too, when we've got these verbs using avoir as the helper, they don't have to agree if the direct object comes afterwards. Okay, so let's look here. J'ai passé un excellent weekend. I spent an amazing weekend. I had an amazing weekend. What did you spend? Or what did you have? An excellent weekend. Okay, so that's answering the question. What did you pass? What did you have? What did you spend? A great weekend. Okay, second example. Aimé a monté l'ordinateur au deuxième étage. She took the computer up to the third floor. What did she take up? The computer. Answering the question, what? So we use avoir as our helper. Third example. Ils ont descendu l'escalier. They went down the stairs. What did they go down? They went down the stairs. Last one. Nous avons sorti le chien hier soir. We let the dog out last night. What did we let out? The dog. Okay, so our direct object is in red here. I hope that kind of helped to point it out. And notice too that we don't have any sort of agreement going on because the direct object is coming afterwards and we're using avoir as our helper. Let's quick go back and look at the sentences before. What's different? First example, nous sommes passés au magasin. We passed by the store. Notice first of all that passé has an S on it because nous is plural. Okay, so we already have agreement there. What follows after the verb? Au magasin. Au is starting off a prepositional phrase. We passed by the store. Okay, it's not a direct object, doesn't answer the question who or what. It's a prepositional phrase. Second one, Aimé est monté au deuxième étage. Amy went up to the third floor. Where did she go? Up to the third floor. Okay, again, a prepositional phrase, not a direct object. Also notice too, monter has an extra E on the end because Amy is a girl. Okay, so again, the agreement with être. Third example, vous avez descendu par l'escalier ou par l'ascenseur. Par is kicking off here a prepositional phrase, but it's talking about how we went down. Did you take the stairs down or the elevator? Okay, talking about how we went downstairs. Fourth example, nous sommes sortis hier soir. We went out last night. We went out when? Last night. So it's not answering the question who or what. It's talking about when. So in this case, it's going to be an adverb. And again, too, sorti has an S on it, agreeing with nous, which is plural. Okay, so already this is different. Okay, however, if our direct object is coming before our verb in the passé composé, this is when we've got to have agreement. And I think this is what's confusing us a little bit. So let's take a look at some examples. Here's our first one. Tu as monté les iPads au deuxième étage? Oui, je les ai montés. Did you take the iPads up to the third floor? Yes, I took them up. We're replacing the iPads with the pronoun them. Okay, since our pronoun is going to come before our verb in French, we notice that we've got to add an S to the end here. We've got to have agreement. And this is a rule not just with these four verbs, but in general, okay? If our direct object comes before our verb in the passé composé, then we've got to have agreement. So, oui, je les ai montés. Les is referring to something masculine, however, it's plural, so we've got to add an S. Let's look at our second example. Vous avez sorti la crème solaire? Oui, nous l'avons sorti. Did you take out the sunscreen? Yes, we took it out. Okay, la crème solaire being replaced by the pronoun la. Since la is going to come before avon, which starts with an A, we're going to do L apostrophe. We know that it's referring to la crème solaire, which is feminine, so to the end of our verb, we're adding an E. All right, so let's kind of make a list of these rules. Here they are in one spot, so if you guys need to write this down or whatever, or just here it is. Okay, so we're talking about our verbs passe, monter, descendre, and sortir. and these are Van der Tramp verbs, so normally they're going to take être as their helping verb in the passé composé. However, when they are followed by a direct object, remember a direct object answers the question who or what, when they're followed by a direct object, they're going to use avoir as their helping verb, and they don't need to agree in this case. If we notice that it's followed by a preposition, okay, then we don't need to use avoir. We're going to instead use être like normal. Last thing, if our direct object is coming before our verb, okay, we're going to use avoir because there's a direct object there for these verbs. However, we are going to make our verbs agree because the direct object is coming before the verb and passé composé. So, mes élèves, I hope this helped you out. I hope this makes a little bit more sense now. Come and talk to me if it doesn't, and I'll see you soon.